I'm releasing a plugin today. I believe with my whole heart that it is amazing to the point where I'm not going to do anything flashy in this video. I'm just going to record my computer screen and show it to you. So this is Transit. It's a super creative multi-effect that I developed with Baby Audio. And hey, it's Andrew Huang. Initially, the concept was about speeding up the workflow when you're creating transitions in songs, but as the development process went on, we just kept discovering new, really cool possibilities with it. But I'll start by showing you the transition use case and just how the plugin works in general. So you got these 7 slots, and in each of them, you can load one of 18 effects. Let's put a delay in there. It does what a delay does. So the main thing with Transit is the parameters of all these effects can be assigned to the macro. So if we click any of these buttons, we can now set a start and end point for the value of that knob. So let's have the feedback get more over time. The mix will go from completely dry to completely wet. And let's start the tone at normal, and then we'll have it go darker over the course of the transition. Now, as I move this macro knob, you see these little black dots inside those circles around the knobs? That's showing you the current value of that parameter. So now as I turn this transition control, you're gonna hear those 3 parameters changing over time. And you can do this with tons of parameters on up to 7 effects. So you can probably see where this is going. It's a huge time saver for creating these transitions where you want different parameters all changing and affecting your sound. But you can do it all in one place instead of hopping between different plugin windows and automation lanes and all that. This is a super streamlined workflow. So for example, like let's do a classic, washout, put a reverb on here, have it go from 0 to, we don't need to go completely wet, maybe around 50. The reverb can get longer as it goes on. And then over here, let's drop in OTT, and we'll just have the amount go from 0 to 100. Oh yeah, by the way, you can also go backwards. When it's pink, it's backwards. But in this case, we just want to really squish that transition as it goes on. And actually, I'm just going to automate the macro control because it probably, want to transition for the last, say, 4 bars of this section. But let's build on this. Let's do a filter. We could high pass it, have the cutoff start at 0 and go pretty high. Resonance starting at nothing, turning up as we go. Mix also coming in from 0 to 100. And actually, I think that should go before the OTT. Let's drag and drop it over there. Got quiet at the end. Let's do a little gain compensation on OTT. Maybe we also want to add a noise sweep. We got a module for that. I'm going to flip it to bandpass and again, switch some of these parameters to dynamic. So we'll have it sweep up like this. It'll start from nothing and go up to, say, around -12 or something is probably good. Here's another thing. When you flip a parameter to dynamic, the middle of the knob turns into a curve control. So if I boost this up like this, you can see as I turn the macro, it goes up higher faster. I could also do the inverse where it climbs really slowly at the beginning and then it goes up higher at the end. So not only are you setting the ranges of every parameter, but also the acceleration or deceleration with regard to how they're mapped to the transition control. I think in this case though, we want to be able to hear the noise pretty early on as we sweep. And then also let's put on a pump effect. Quarter note, turn the shape up. This is like how long of a pumping effect it is. And we're going to automate the amount from 0 to 100. Let's hear this. But if instead of a noise, maybe I wanted like a riser, we could do that. We've got an oscillator module. Pitch is going to go from something low to something really high. Gain is going to go from nothing to, or I guess not nothing. We can go from somewhere around there. Turn the curve up again, and spread can go from, let's say, 0 to 100. So, to do this with multiple plugins and multiple automation lanes like I often am, it's so much more work. And then also, if you set up a really great transition in part of your song and then you want to use it again, it's like this whole copy paste job. Here, you literally just automate the transit knob again. And of course, if you like lengthen it or shorten it, you can just completely remap all of that for it to be like, for instance, here, a 1-bar transition instead of a 4-bar transition. I'm gonna just loop this part and run you through a few presets so you can get a feel for all the different kinds of transitions that are possible. And I'm also gonna turn this little vocal sample I have on here so it feels more like a full song. Leave me. You're playing for time. Leave me. You're playing for time. Leave me. You're playing for time. So those are examples on the full mix, but transit is also great on individual tracks. I'll show you some more presets on the vocal here. See me, you're playing for time. See me, you're playing for time. 'Cause I've been falling for you. You're playing for time. 'Cause I've been falling for you. See me. You're playing for time. 'Cause I've been falling for you. Transit's also great as just a static effect, and you could use this transition control more for dialing in the sweet spot that you want. See me. You're playing for time. 'Cause I've been falling for you. And then maybe tweak a couple things as you like. Or forget about presets. This is one of my favorite things. We've got an amazing randomization system here. So if you click this lock button, you can see what is locked or unlocked. Unlocked meaning it will randomize if you press the die icon up here. So let's say I like the OTT. I'm going to control click that. That locks the entire module. If you don't control click, this is just like the module selection lock. And also you can set the range of randomization for different parameters if you want. So let's completely randomize the top 3 module slots, and I'll do this example on drums just to switch it up. So that's a workflow if you just want to find a vibe, but here's something I love to do with randomization. If you're into like glitchy stuff, I think you'll appreciate this. So like, let's take a delay. We're going to put OTT on the end of the chain, and we're going to fully lock it. Reset it to default. It's just going to compress everything that we're doing. For the delay, I'm going to lock the module selection, but let almost everything else be randomized. Let's see, maybe we want to lock the mix, keep that at 50%. And then I want to dial in the range of randomization for the delay length to be pretty short. And actually the feedback range could go all the way up. And we don't need this distortion right away. To start with, for this example, I'll just use the random icon on the delay module. So I love to do this. I'll resample my audio while hitting the randomizer, like on beat. So that's fun, but now if I use this die, and let me just check that we'll just unlock all of these slots. So we're still gonna have that fun delay glitching effect, then it's gonna go through who knows what else, and then get a little compressed with the OTT, and it's just gonna be a glitch fest. And we've got a dry wet control down here, so if I want, maybe I'll put it around half, and we'll hear the full original beat, and all this glitchy stuff can just be like in the background, adding a lot of fun. And here's another thing I haven't showed you that takes Transit to yet another level. We'll load up a classic reverb wash kind of thing. If I hit these two arrows, it switches to what we're calling the motion sequencer. So here you set the length of your transition. Let's stick with 4 bars. Now I can press play here. The play and stop are also assignable to MIDI. So, you know, live sets, just trigger your transition. It starts on the next bar, synced to your DAW. There's also a pendulum option, so it can go back and forth, and a loop option if you just want to add an effect like as an LFO. And so we discovered some cool stuff once we implemented this because, you know, if I do a much smaller amount of time and let that loop, it creates a different kind of effect, and this is pretty extreme, but there's the possibility for an entirely different kind of transition because you can let that run and fade it in. Like, what a sick effect. And that's just one possibility, you know, out of the however many crazy amount of combinations you can do with all the different effects, all the different parameters you can be modulating, all the different amounts of time you could do here. Like, I don't know, what if we did half as long as that, but we pendulumed it? But just imagine with this motion sequencer, you know, if you're doing a live set, you could have like 15 transits open. It's really good on CPU, by the way. And you could have like your 4-bar riser, your 4-bar washout, your 4-bar filter sweep, your 2-bar version of all of those things. Like so many different individual transitions. You could have different ones on just certain tracks, like do something with the vocal, do something with the bass, and just have those mapped to triggers. Hit it a little bit before the bar where you want the transition to start, and you know. So there's so much more that I could show you about this plugin, but I'm gonna do a much deeper dive with lots more use cases in a couple of weeks. A couple more things I wanna make you aware of though for this launch video though is you can click on this little burger menu and each module has its own presets where you can also create and save your own. And then of course we have a dark mode. And then one other little handy thing to mention is this infinity icon. If you turn that on, it means that when the transition is at 0, all the effects are still applied. Whereas if infinity is off, it means at 0, everything is bypassed. So for some use cases, it doesn't matter. Like if you're going to dynamically mix in your effects anyway from 0 to 100 with their individual module mixes. But just for different use cases, sometimes you want all the effects active even when transition is at 0. Other times you might want them off until you start doing the transition. And then last thing I guess I'll mention is the reverb and delay have tails control. So you can either have the tails ring out when the transition control goes back to 0. Or you could have them cut out. So that is my first plugin, Transit. Link is in the description if you want to pick it up. It's $99, but we're doing an intro special of $59. And so excited to be working with Baby Audio. It was actually really serendipitous how this all happened because I had this plugin idea kicking around for a while, and then I decided there's no way I could make it myself. And when I started thinking about who I'd want to collaborate on with it, Baby Audio was at the top of my list just for, you know, their sound quality, their aesthetic. I use all their stuff all the time. I feel like they're really forward thinking, but they always keep like good quality and good workflow at the forefront. So I reached out to them and it was just this amazing moment of serendipity because they got back to me and they were like, hey, we were actually thinking of reaching out to you just because we think you have cool ideas and maybe you'd want to do a plugin together. So it really worked out amazingly. And just the whole design process was so collaborative. Like we made every decision together. We were super aligned on almost all of it. But then also the stuff where we might have disagreed at first, you know, there was never a compromise. We talked it out and we feel like we figured out the best solution for everything, every little detail about this plugin. And we're just like, the whole team and I are 100% excited about what we've created with Transit. I hope you can see the value in it and the creativity in it. And yeah, pick it up while it's on sale. Would love to see what you do with it. I'll see you in the next video.
Patrice.